Yo guys, I'm Yellow, a Norwegian hardcore PC gamer, and today I figured that we should make a little gaming science video about footsteps and audio and echolocation in CS, alright? But before we do that, this is my first game on Santorini, so if you don't find me to take a good position or just, you know, get dumb kills or strange kills, that's because I have no fucking clue what I'm doing. So anyways, enjoy my first game here. Let's talk about echolocation and the footsteps. See, a few people have no clue about the footsteps in CS. They essentially got all remade. I actually enjoy the old version because they were harder to hear and harder to make out, so it required more skill and echolocation skill to be able to actually thoroughly detect where and how far away from you they were. But in this metagame and with this graphics and sound engine, it's fairly simple, alright? So yeah, let's just go through the science of the bit right here, how it works out. So in Counter-Strike, regardless of what surface you're stepping on, in which, by the way, that will generate a different noise right now. We got one for wood, one for metal, one for stone, one for sand, and so on and so on. Regardless of this, what really matters is not just making a sound, but it's more about how far away from you it is, and then it pretty much stops. But it doesn't really stop, because if you got higher level of audio, like if you're listening to the game at a higher volume, you're probably going to be better off. But it most likely stops right there, and the reason for that is because the audio engine that Counter-Strike uses is pretty monotone and linear. It essentially means that if there's like a completely solid brick wall separating me from an enemy, but he's running on plank wood behind that wall, in which I'm just standing still and trying to listen, I'll accurately be able to echolocate where he's running. Now, the skill of echolocation itself requires just a lot of practice, and that includes exploration and getting used to a lot of sound, in which it almost works like a word vocabulary, but instead it's a sound vocabulary that you gotta get used to with your brain. The only way to do that, and this is what happens indirectly in which people do this, is to just play a lot of deathmatch. The more deathmatch you play, on the more different maps too, by the way, the easier it will be for you to automatically pick up on noises, sounds, where they are coming from, what they mean, how far away enemies are, and so on and so on. And eventually, as you get more and more practice at the game, your brain will start to automate that process, just like with anything else. Just like with how you automatically flick, preferably at somebody's head as they're coming very close by to you, because, you know, preferably you want to one-tap somebody with the AK. You don't want to spam them down, unless that is the only way you can actually hit them or effectively kill them. I mean, scenarios make all of these things change up, but the theme here is that your brain can learn this and automate this process too. Just like with how I automatically call as soon as I can, you know? As soon as I, for example, see a grenade come from one direction, then I will know that because that grenade came from one specific direction, there's probably a guy there, right? Or, for example, on the pistol round, and I do this quite often, I see a smoke fall down on a pistol round. You know what that means, right? That means that one of these bastards don't even have Kevlar, which means that I can just go ham with my Glock on their body, and they won't be able to hit me one time, which can be favorable, even though, again, it's still a gamble, but then again, that is CS for you. But the theme you can probably see, this is how we are as human beings build up, and thus meaning that if you then go into deathmatch with fairly high audio settings, and you keep up the grind, I would prefer people to, especially also if you're not good at these things, keep up the grind routinely for a couple of weeks or maybe months. Eventually, then you'll be able to develop this, and it will come to you, as it comes to a lot of other people, as a second nature, you know? Now, in terms of settings, I guess I should go through that before we're pretty much done with this subject. I was born with terrible hearing, and I like to listen to metal. That is a strange combination, but it allows me to tolerate the very, very annoying sound of the AK-47 more than most people. Regardless, that is pretty much how far you gotta push your audio level until you can get it either to a slightly uncomfortable level or a very uncomfortable level. I would assume that would be the thing for regular players per se. And the reason for that is because that is pretty much one of the loudest guns in the game. When you got that high of a audio level, and when you then sustain that with practice over a couple of months, that is going to allow you to extend your range of where you can hear somebody step in the game, and that is going to give you the highest level of advantage, regardless of equipment or other settings that you got, in which that is going to give you the best advantage, you know? Like, it's as simple as that. Now, in terms of being able to hear footsteps, eventually it becomes binary, you know? It's either or. It's pretty silly, but also pretty basic. But then again, it could be worse, so I'm not going to complain. Hopefully people enjoy this video. If you didn't learn anything from this video, here are two that might teach you something. If you want to support me and my broke ass, we got the Patreon link, t-shirt links below. Aside from that, though, if you follow me on Twitter, Facebook, or Twitch, you'll also support support me a decent lot, I would say. Anyways, thanks for watching, have a nice day, and don't get beastified when you play.